Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Drop to the Future. I'm Matt. That's my co-host Ryan, and I'm thinking he's getting the Twitter stuff figured out, or the X stuff figured out. We are doing this live because we're checking in on our shadow teams. So we're just gonna cry for an hour. Um, but we had some big things. We still have our interview with Landon is up. We still have our interview with the individual in charge of the Navy All Star game. That's some great content. We got some big stuff coming up looking at small schools. Lots of content coming up, lots of good content to check out. So please, it's absolutely free. It does nothing to hit the subscribe button and help us build our channel so that we can grow and continue to prognosticate about football, either with the draft, college football, or the NFL.
Yeah, and we haven't really fully locked down what we're going to be doing in like after the season, right? Like obviously the focus during the bowl season is going to be like how people are performing in those bowls, and then as people start declaring for the draft. But most likely in the new year, we're going to try to start locking into heavy focus on the draft, especially as the NFL season is wrapping up. And expect us to try to get some more interviews. We have some tentative things and that weren't allowed to happen during the season, so we're hopeful that those are able to come to fruition in the off season. So without further ado, I'm going to switch it over here. I've got Matt. Matt, I've got your team
All
up
right.
here. If you want to go ahead and talk through how you guys are doing.
Okay. Um, in a broad overview, the good news is I have more players who've gotten any snaps at all. So every time we've done an update, I got more players with snaps. Um, I have fewer blue chip guys, but that's because Joe Alt got hurt for the year. And I got another guy who's like on the cusp. But I do have more stars, but that's because one guy fell. You know what I mean? So one blue chip player, one star, 4 stars, 7 or above average, 2 average, and then 13 that are below average. Um, and again, like some are kind of on the cusp, and some just barely got going. Um, I now have 8 contributors, which is down from the first time, but up from the last time. I still have 5 starters, including my kicker. I mean, doing what is, and then I got one guy who's getting some reps. So the the chart says I have 3 guys on IR, but I got one guy back and lost another one. So I injuries have really crippled both me and Ryan. My most significant injury being Joe Alt. And then JPJ is kind of also hurting, though. The staff over in Vegas is trying to hurt themselves. Um, so performers I want to like shout out. Malik Washington has, like, even if he doesn't really grow as a receiver, he's a solid kick returner, and that's good. And Kamari Lassiter has continued to deliver what I need from him. And I am like Mickens and Ransom are out with injuries, but they've kind of carved themselves a role on the team, and it looks like they're going to be the starters going forward. But safety positions are a little iffy. And then just a shout out, I don't know, I can't remember when I drafted Tess Johnson, but I'm a genius whenever I did it.
Yeah.
I had my eye on him, and I was playing a big game of like, not yet, not yet, not yet. Um, and I didn't have a first round grade on him, but I wanted him, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't let him get to free agency. And I mean, he's going to continue to get the opportunity to play. One of my players, TJ Sanders, more on that other one in a minute. TJ Sanders was on IR and he came back and he's still like finding his rhythm. But he's at least back inning snaps. I guess I'd have to say I would have to declare Princely Manuel my biggest disappointment, but I want to follow that by saying rookie edge rusher, rotational data. The I'm not saying I've given up on him, but I thought he would. I thought he would shine a little more in his rookie year. So it just hasn't happened. And then, of course, I finally got to see Shador, and that didn't go well. That didn't go well at all. I think it'll go better next week. I think asking any quarterback to beat the Ravens is difficult. Rich Eisen says they haven't allowed 20 points in 4 straight weeks. And the Browns, who can't score 20 points, like that was never going to work. And one thing I want to say on the record, I need someone to explain something to me. I'm going to set aside the fact that I do like Shador and I think highly of Shador. Let's assume I'm on a different team and I have a backup quarterback who's a 5th-round rookie. My starting quarterback had 12 dropbacks before he went down. I eked out a 6-point win because of a pick 6. And then my starting quarterback gets a concussion. So you bring in your backup 5th-round rookie, and your brilliant idea is to throw almost twice as much. Shador had 24 dropbacks. Why? Why, with the leading the ball and the backup quarterback, do you throw more than you did? And there's nothing you can say, because if you're like, well, he really thought Shador could throw it, then why is he your backup? And if you're like, well, I don't think he's a starter, then why are you making him throw more than you did with your starter against a great defense?
Because Browns.
Huh?
Because Browns.
Yeah, because Browns. Like that's the only way that makes sense. But then again, I got Ashton Jeanty. The Raiders took him 6 overall, and they go, let's give him literally 6 snaps.
Well, 6 carries.
No, he had 6 snaps.
Well, he had some receptions that week too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked at his. Let me look at his. I looked at his rushing data. Let me look at his offense data. You are correct. Offensively, he got 6 carries. He did have 44 snaps.
Yeah.
Hold on. Receiving, he might have done even better.
They're using him as like a heavy blocker and receiver because they keep getting behind, and it is malpractice in my opinion. Like a guy like that, you need to feed and you need to let him pop one off. He's going to if you keep handing it to him.
And so all in all, I guess if I'm coping, I might be coping. That's what the kids call it, right?
Yeah.
I'm coping by saying 2 of the players I believed in most are on teams that are just making mind-boggling decisions. And then a guy I really believed in as an edge rusher is on the Panthers. And well, they're the Panthers. So I'm still at a place where I'm like, look, I have 2 depth receivers. I have a starting running back. I wish the Raiders knew they had a starting running back. I got a kick returner. I got a tackle and a interior lineman. And then on defense, all I really have is a corner. I have a corner and 2 safeties who show promise. And then after that, like I got a lot of work to do in the draft, and that's kind of where I am. I don't know what you think, Ryan. I'll let you prognosticate there.
Yeah, I think what we're both seeing a lot is that a lot of our favorite players we drafted too high, so while they might get a shot in the next couple years, it is less likely for them to get and hold on to that spot immediately.
God, Wyatt Milam got some snaps.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, nice. It wasn't awesome. It wasn't terrible, but I'm like, okay, that's encouraging.
Yeah, but like and I think I'll talk about mine here in a second, but like that's just the reality of it. Because even when they get some snaps and play really well, then they go right back to the bench because they're still the low round guy, even though they played potentially better. So I think it's not gloom and doom yet, but I think if it's the same thing as what have you done for me lately, right? So if you use the data that like you've developed and that we've kind of seen based off of looking at all the stuff and the consensus boards and stuff like that, if you do that for your draft this year and you hit on 6-7 guys, uh, um, then you're right back turning it around.
Yep.
And I mean, shoot, even better, have a great draft and hit on like 9 guys, and
Yep.
you've made up the ground. So,
Do you think this draft has how many people have you seen where you're like, oh, like how many like no brain solid starters do you currently what's your over under?
not a ton. Like it, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of the top guys are saying this is a a weaker class. Like the depth is decent at a lot of positions. Now the linebacker, I love the linebacker class this year. I feel like I'm gonna have to take a couple linebackers. I could be like what the Bengals do and wait for it to be a year where that class is really, really thin and then take two. That's what the Bengals like to do. Um, but I don't think I'm going to try to follow in their footsteps. But yeah, I don't think every year next year is better. But um, I do think that a lot of it depends on who comes out too. If a lot of the guys that have eligibility go back, then it could get real thin real quick.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. So like that's what I will be interested to see is come declaration day for the draft. If all of a sudden a ton of guys are going back, it's like uh-oh.
So
Then it makes those top 3 rounds even more important.
so before you look at your team, do you agree Tess Johnson is my best diamond in the rough?
Yeah,
Lasser and Alt are my stars. And then do you believe that Umam Yellen, like you could argue Sanders is a greater disappointment, but right now I'm going to say Umam Yellen. But I'm like, yeah, let's
yeah,
disappointing this year, but not giving up on him. Do you agree?
uh, yeah. I would say Sanders is more disappointing than Uman, uh, in my opinion. Just because I mean you took him a little bit earlier, so they're about even. Um, but yeah, it's those two. It's like my second round last year was not good. My second round last year, I whiffed on both, um, and that set me back some. This year, I feel like I've done a lot better, even though one of my second rounders is injured right now. But I think so. Tez Johnson for sure is your best diamond in the rough, because I know you took him. I think it was pretty late on day 3, and he's playing great, and he's in an offense that's going to be able to feed him. Like doesn't matter how many mouths there are to feed, that offense has plenty of room to give it to him. So I definitely think that's the case.
I took him
I,
in the 6th round at 180.
there you go. And I do think that the safety room is kind of sneaky too. Like having potentially 2 guys. Now, hopefully, you don't end up like I was, where I had 2 guys that were getting lots of snaps, and then now neither one of them are barely playing. Um, who knows? But I think Lathan Ransom has a good chance of holding on to that role. Mickens is the one where I'm like, well, what happens if they take a safety in the top 2 or 3 rounds? Now Mickens goes back to the bench. That's because that's what happened to my team. They one of them drafted a safety and the other actually one of them drafted Ransom, and then the other sign a veteran, and it sent both my guys to the bench. So um, we'll see. But you got a good kicker too. I like that. That's a sneaky get because it's so hard to project that. So all right, so yeah, let me look at mine. So yeah, I'll admit like I'm a little healthier overall for sure. Um, so if I look at mine, my defense is much healthier than my offense. Overall, I've got 34 guys that have seen offense or defense snaps so far this season, and 32 guys that have seen special teams snaps. I think I have an all-pro special teams team. Um, if I've only got two blue chip guys on special teams with Peyton Wilson and Sean Dolak, but I've got a lot of guys. I've got like 15 guys or 16 guys. Yeah, 15 guys. 15 guys that are above average or more on special teams. So I've got some really good special teamers. And I put like 60 plus snaps would be a starter for special teams is what I did. Um, and so I've got a lot. I've got 15 guys that have over 60 snaps on special teams. And so I've got a couple options at kick returner with Isaiah Williams and Efton Chisholm. So having a little bit of luck there. But I'm struggling a little bit with some of the injuries as well with Cam Scadaboo. He's down, which is super sad. Christian Mahogany, he's down. He was playing great. I have had a couple guys come back recently. Christian Haynes just came back and got his first snaps. Who else? There was at least one other that I saw that came back and got some snaps. But if I go through and kind of like talk about my highlights, Cam Scadaboo is still one of my favorite picks, but he's doing wrestling right now. I saw him on the side of WWE match last night, I think it was. But Elk Ironmander has come back down to earth a little bit. Part of that is I don't think his quarterback is playing very well, and his team is pretty bad. But he's definitely come back down to earth a little bit. I still think he's a good wide receiver 2 potentially in the league, maybe wide receiver 3. So I've got some hope there. Harold Fannin, love him. Think he's going to continue to do well. He's above league average in terms of his grade with a 63.4. It's not great, but it's there. And he's got nearly 500 snaps. So you hope to have 500 snaps by the end of the season. He's got nearly 500 already, so he is getting a ton of play. Honestly, it's more play than I expected him to get as a rookie, especially with a team like Cleveland that has David Njoku. But he has become very, very trusted, and I was excited that when Shador came in, he actually targeted him a couple times as well. So that makes me hope that makes me excited that I think he will continue to get targets with Shador in there. So that would be fun. Let's see. Blake Fisher's an interesting one because he keeps getting snaps, and he's doing pretty well. But he's not the starter, and it's confused. Like I don't know exactly how they're using him because I
He's
haven't been
the
able.
extra old lineman in heavy sets.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a little more sense because I haven't watched a ton of Texans games. I don't really care that much to watch Texans games. But he's getting snaps, so he's a contributor at least. He's there. He's helping. And then the last two guys from my offense is Christian Mahogany, who's now injured but was doing well, and then the guy that is playing out of position in my opinion. He's a center and was great as a center in college. He's playing left guard for the Patriots. Got a 49.6 with 655, but hey, he's a starter on the top record in football right now.
Yep.
So I got to give him that. I'm kind of hoping that he ends up shifting to center at some point because I think he would perform better there. But he had a pretty good game last week, and that raised him up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there. But I'm cautiously optimistic with him. The grade is bad, but that's that. Abdul Carter, his stat line hasn't been like fantastic by any means, but he's playing well. I would say he's not playing up to first round like or top 3 pick worthiness at this point, but he's playing solid. Donovan Ezraku has started to get some starts. The last couple games he's been a starter, and he's almost an 80. He's almost to that blue chip level now.
He might he might be the better of the pass rushers you took.
He might be, and he's so much fun to watch, and he's graded well as a run in the run game as well, which was one of the things they're like, oh, he's too small and light to be a run.
Didn't he get that safety on Ginty like on Monday night?
Him? No, I think that was Quentin Williams.
Okay.
Which the other good thing about Donovan Ezraku, the interior line just got a boost for Dallas. And if the interior line gets a boost, that's going to help him out as well. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more coming from him. Byron Murphy bounced back this year. Last year was a little weak with some injuries and stuff, and he's played really well. Let's see. Peebles is out with an injury. Huntington just came back from an injury. He's still not getting a lot of snaps, but he's done well in those snaps. Peyton Wilson has finally started to come back up. There was a stretch where he was in like the 30s, but he's had like 3 out of the last 4 weeks have been above average grades. So he's eked that back up to a 58 now. What I was talking about earlier about guys that play really well, but then go right back to the bench. Sean Dolak hasn't played since the first time he played. Like absolute stud the game that he played. But he is like insane on special teams. And then other than that, Cam Hart, up and down guy, but he's doing all right. Quinyon Mitchell is still my best player from last year, playing great. He's a lockdown corner. I think corner is going to be a position that I look for this year for sure. Nico Reed is getting some snaps. He's not getting a ton of snaps, but he's making good use of them. Not the special team snaps. You see that nice red number there on the special teams. It's kind of terrible in special teams. And then from my safety room, these are the 2 guys I was talking about from last year that got like rotational snaps last year, and towards the end of the season we're getting starter snaps, but they're getting almost no snaps this year. But Xavier Watts, who I got in round 3, I think, is and made Matt mad because I took him. He is playing very, very well. The 68.6. He's been great on that defense. And my punter is doing solid. He's been better lately. And then my long snapper, rating-wise, isn't doing great, but he's playing, so I don't care. Overall, I think my biggest disappointment this year, from this year's draft, that's tough.
Up here comes my dog.
Oh, honestly, my biggest disappointment from this year's draft might actually be a lower end guy, but that's Jared Harrison Hunty, because he hasn't even been like he's on the practice squad, hasn't been able to even make a call up or anything. So that was a little sad. And then the other one might be Nick Nash. I think Nick Nash I took in round like 5 or 4 maybe, because I really liked him, and he's on the practice squad and hasn't been called up. But I've got a handful of blue chip guys right now, but I don't really count the third blue chip. So right now, technically, Del Pettis is a blue chip, but he's got 43 snaps on offense defense, so it doesn't really count.
I count
it. Yeah, I mean, I'm counting it, but it's not like the impact it's having on my team is not huge. But I've got a lot of guys that are above average. I've got a total of 17 that are above average, 8 that are average, and then 9 that are below. So I'm in a decent spot.
your team's taking the crap out of mine.
Yeah, I know. I can admit that. But like the question will be, what's going to happen? Like, my problem is I'm worried that I'm going to get overconfident, and then a bunch of the guys that got snaps or are starting to get more snaps end up getting none last year, because some of the guys are getting snaps because of injuries. And so my fear is that I'm going to go into next year again and like 4 or 5 guys, and I'm like, these are going to be future guys. They're going to get more snaps, and then they don't see the field.
Remind me again, how many contributors, how many starters?
Contributors, I have 3. I don't have a ton of contributors, and I have 14 that that are starters.
That's way ahead.
Yeah, the starters is where
Yeah.
I'm feeling good, because I do have a lot of starters. It's like I have starters and then nothing. So, but you want to get into a little bit about how we're feeling about guys that we're targeting, because I think we're both a little sad about the quarterback class right now.
Well, I mean, I think we're in agreement. It's Mendoza or bust. Mendoza or 2027.
Yeah, I think pretty much, because like I see some of the things people like about Ty Simpson, but I'm not even convinced he's going to come out. And he has so few starts. I love my guy Cole Payton, but I doubt he's going to go very high. So he's not a guy that I'm expecting to get drafted by a team that wants him to start next year. Now, if he gets drafted by the Rams in round 2 or 3 and I draft him, then I'd be happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Mendoza, which again, for reminder for you people that this is maybe their first time watching, the way me and Matt do it is our second pick of our round is whatever our favorite team is drafting, which I'm the Bengals, he's the Niners, and when we pick who gets the first pick of the round, it's based off of so whoever's team has the lowest draft pick will get the highest draft pick and of the first one.
I've clinched a
So,
top 3 pick.
yeah, with the Bengals being 3-7 now, Matt has pretty much clinched that. So it's either Mendoza for him or nothing. So I see myself going along the lines of maybe like a Caleb Downs, a Peter Wood, a Ruben Bain, maybe. Actually, probably not Ruben Bain, just because I've got a good. I mean, I still could, maybe. We'll see.
I'm starting to hear chatter on Ruben Bain too.
Yeah.
But for me, with my first pick, it's Mendoza or Bain, and I think I'll get one of them. And if I have to go 3, I like my top 3 right now. I got my folder, but I'm pretty sure it's Mendoza, Bain. I'd have to take a long look at Mansour Delane. I'd probably feel safer with Peter Woods. I had a crazy mock draft where I got Mendoza and Peter Woods because the Niners had like pick 18 and he fell. Nice. And I'm like, sure, but no, never gonna happen. But then, once my top 30 are gone, I don't know.
Yeah, I because we had our episode last week or 2 weeks ago where we talked about our top 50 boards, and over the next month or so we'll start to flesh out the rest. But I feel like it's going to be all over the place after that. Like, if there's a good chance that Matt and I could both like a guy quite a bit, and he has him at like 64 and I have him at 130, but that's not a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the interesting thing, and I think that could make when I did the data on consensus versus actual draft pick, I think it was the 2022 class that didn't have a lot of quarterbacks and didn't have a lot of other blue chip guys that people were looking at that had a pretty wider range. Like it was further off from the consensus. And I think that could end up being what we run into again this year if most of the quarterbacks go back. And so that's going to make things very interesting because we could get in a situation where you take a guy round 3, he falls to round 6, and now you're in a situation like, oh, great. He might not see the field. So, yeah, I think it's going to be for me with my first pick. Um, you know, depending on where it ends up landing, there's a good chance I could be targeting. I could see myself going after Arvel Reese. I could see myself going after Peter Woods. I could see myself going after Mansour Delane, and I could see myself going after Caleb Downs.
You'd really pass on Tate in your top 5 pick?
Well, because of where the Bengals are likely picking.
No, I'm talking about your pick, like the top 5 one. Like if you're, are you talking about? So you're talking Woods or Reese at your top 5 pick? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
potentially. Yeah, as well as Downs and Mansour Delane. But I think there's like it is. So I don't know what I would need to change, but I like Carnell Tate is my number one wide receiver right now. Um, but there's a really really good chance that my pick where the Bengals actually pick, um, if he's there, it'll be Carnell Tate. Real good chance. Um, Now, I could also see the Bengals doing the Bengals thing and bringing Joe Burrow back and getting 4 or 5 wins just to mess up our draft pick for no chance at the playoffs. Because like, why would at this point, why would you even want to make the playoffs with this defense, um, which is historic in a bad way? So I could see them doing that because like the last 3 games of the season for the Bengals are Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. If Joe Burrow's like honestly, we could win those games without Joe Burrow, potentially, but we could definitely win them with Joe Burrow. But the 3 games before that are Ravens, Bills, Ravens.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're targeting Joe Burrow coming back for the first Ravens game. And if that happens, he would have 6 games. If he snags one of those 3 games, then you're looking at a 7-win team probably because we're not beating the Patriots this week. But you're looking at a 7-win team now, and a 7-win team probably puts you in the 12 to 15 range. And I'm like, come on, guys.
I don't know. I look. I'm telling you, man. Downs is going to be there at 12.
Maybe, but I just know that I could go like Downs Delane with my first 2 picks or Delane Downs. But because I don't think I'm hopeful that Downs does not fall past the Bengals because they have atrocious safety play.
Yep.
But if I'm not getting a quarterback, I kind of want to snag a wide receiver in the first round this year, so I don't have to cry about not getting Jeremiah Smith next year.
I don't think the cards are going to fall that way for me. I'm feeling confident. I'm either going to get Mendoza or Bain, but then I just don't know that Lemon or Tate are going to be there when the Niners pick again.
Yeah, unless
And
the Bengals are, unless the Niners are a round 1 out of the playoffs.
yeah,
Which you obviously don't hope for, but they do have a lot of injuries on defense.
well, what I might pull off, because the jury's out on Sanders, the jury's out on Uman Mielen, but there's a world where I get Bain, McDonald, Kristen Miller, and Joshua Josephs, and I'd call that a win.
Yeah, just stack your defense.
Like and then Sanders develops. I want 9 All-Pro defensive linemen. I want that.
Yeah,
I want 9 All-Pro offensive linemen. Even if I get Mendoza and then I still get McDonald, Christian Miller, that's the right name for the OSU tackle, right? Caden McDonald?
Caden McDonald, yeah.
Yeah. So McDonald, and I'm very high on McDonald.
Me too.
I mean, I have both those tackles in my top 20. and I know they're going to go top 50.
Yep.
So getting those two, and then can I get a Joshua Josephs, the Arkansas kid maybe, the Missouri kid maybe. Um, when things were early, I was like, I'm getting Bailey in the second round, and now I'm like, nope,
Yep.
nope, not gonna get him.
I've been calling him a first rounder since the beginning, since summer scouting. I was like, he's gonna go round one.
Did you see that comment on the YouTube channel about Lubin? And
No,
I couldn't stay quiet. I'm like, let me show you, compared to Bain and Bailey, that Lubin is right there.
I'll have to go look at that.
Yeah, like Lubin is right there.
Yep.
I think it was maybe a friend of yours who's kind of trolling,
Okay.
or it was just a guy trolling. But I took the opportunity. I'm like, no, you need to look at this. Lubin had the only two people with more pressures and sacks combined that I've tallied are Bain and Bailey.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like when I was watching some guys talk about him on another channel, and they were saying, well, most of his stuff that Lubin has done was during like non-conference play. He hasn't done well against the ACC, and
That's
I went and I was like, he has he had more pressures uh against the ACC than Bain did.
Yep.
I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not saying that he's the greatest. I know he's not the greatest, but he has consistently performed at every level he's been at.
Mhm.
And performance on the field matters to me more than anything.
See, here's what's going to happen though. Lubin is this year's Fannin,
Yeah.
because I know what I think of Lubin, and I know what you think of Lubin, and I know what the consensus thinks of Lubin.
So Siri,
So
which one of us because like that's where I'm at with Cade McDonald too. Like I love Cade McDonald. Luckily, I have one D tackle that's performing really well, and so I'm somewhat set there. I've got something there, but
if you
like
like McDonald, you better take him with your second first round
yeah,
pick.
and that's what I'm saying is like I have to. Do I like Cade McDonald better than I like Carnell Tate?
Because I have McDonald at 14. Tate's not getting past 12.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like if I don't take Tate, um, then I'm probably not getting I'm not getting a wide receiver that I like very much at my later pick. And if I don't take McDonald, I'm not getting a D tackle that I like as much in my later pick. So because you'll
Now,
have two picks like after my second pick, you'll have two picks before me. I
if
know one
Lemon
of
is
the
there, you want Lemon to fall to me.
yeah, but that's the thing though. If Lemon fell to you, I think McDonald's gone by the time it gets to your next pick, anyways. Because I think he's going to go round one.
Oh, so yeah, you got to decide. Yeah, I don't know if he goes round one, man, because I kind of think he's a three technique
But
or nose tackle.
even if he doesn't go round one, he'll be there for your first pick of round two.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
I'm
that's
like,
my plan.
I'm like I'm not getting Kate. Like I pretty much have to have it in my head. I'm not getting Caden McDonald unless I take him in my second. So like if the Bengals do the Bengals thing and go out there and win 4 games and end up 4 or 5 games, win up 7 and 10, 8 and 9, and have like a pick 12 to 15, I'm not expecting to get Carnell Tate anyways.
So where are you at on? Because I am like, I have McDonald, and then right next to him is Kristen Miller.
Yeah, I don't have him quite next to him, but I do have a high view of him.
Because again, my current feeling is like everything changes if Lemon falls to me in the first round.
Yeah, I think I was you know what, here let me switch we don't need to have this up anyways.
But my current plan is Mendoza Bain, and then I'm confident that I can get McDonald Miller. And so if Lemon is there, which would shock me to begin with, then I would take Lemon, and then I still know that I get either McDonald or Miller. But right now, it looks like Miller is kind of safely in that top of the second round in most consensus areas.
Yeah, I have Miller 5 spots behind McDonald, so it's like they're pretty close. Um, but I am of the opinion I'm kind of leaning towards the idea of if I don't get one of those two in my first 3 picks, I'm probably waiting till round 3 or 4 to get a D tackle at that point. Then,
Another one, Peter Woods could slide.
yeah. Now,
I don't think Peter Woods can buy like it. If you get, let's say you get Mansour Delane at number 4 or 5, right?
yeah,
Which wouldn't be shocking to me. Um, if you took Woods at 4 or 5, I think that would be a steal. I
yeah,
think I think I think Cleveland. I think I'm sorry, Clemson playing bad, and Peter Woods not really having the impact stats is hiding the fact that when you put on the film, he owns the offensive line.
yeah,
And that's kind of the role. Like, I think one of the greatest defensive tackles ever is Haloti Nada, and he's still not even a Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Like, it's nonsense
yeah.
how underappreciated
Oh yeah,
tackles are.
he played forever and was effective forever.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Calais Campbell, same thing. He's like 900 years old and still playing great.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Because I I don't there. I felt like last year there was pretty like a lot of guys that everybody was pretty high on. And from all reports, next year there's so many guys that everybody's
I
high
hate
on.
that. I
Yeah,
hate it.
yeah. So it's gonna be one of those things that I would love to get a quarterback. I'm probably not gonna get one that's gonna get starting time next year unless there's an injury. Because like I might snag Cade Klubnik round 3 or 4. Um, I might snag Cole Payton somewhere around consensus. I don't know where he's going to be. PFF doesn't even have him on his board yet. He's in the 300s or something like that on the consensus board. And so he where like I'm if Brendan Sorsby comes out, I might grab him on day 3. But none of those guys are going to start unless there's a massive injury.
The feeling some experts are getting that Sorsby's already kind of being Sorsby and Imam Alava are being looked at as like first round guys next year.
I could see that. Yeah, guys that come back, and I expect him to come back. So that's the thing is I expect most of the quarterbacks that I would be interested in to go back.
So another quarterback. So you look at Dante Moore and you're like, it's more than 20. The USC kid. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to look at if he announces.
that
I'm
would be
gonna have to
interesting.
look at him
Yeah,
because he'll
because
be
I don't.
above 20.
Yeah, I don't know if they get their Blesto rating or not beforehand, but like they get a rating that says where teams think they're gonna go.
Mhm.
Um, and that'll be interesting to see because there's guys that could come out because the league views them higher. Um, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting year because it's just going to be all over the place. And I think our boards might end up being because we both developed some formulas this year. Um, and so we're going to do a little bit of that. I think our boards might be slightly different than like a little more different than they have been in the past because in the
Nope.
past,
I've seen your mock drafts you send me. No, they're
oh,
not.
okay. Um,
I was hoping, but no.
but yeah, so for me, my plan is basically right after the end of the regular season, I'm going to go input all of my data. Last year I waited till the end of the bowl season to put it all in. I don't feel like doing that this year. Regular season's good, and then I'll take note of guys that performed at the highest level at the highest stage. on if I want to move them up higher based off of that.
So
But
as a well, to bounce off your point, I'm going to add a athleticism portion to my metrics, which will change my board. Because up until this year, it's all production based.
yeah,
This year, I am going to. I already have what I call my athletic go no goes.
yeah,
Like if you're shorter than 6'4", I'm not drafting you to play tackle, things of that sort. But then their athleticism scores I'm going to incorporate to an overall score. Like right now, Ruben Bain has a 96, but that's only a production score. And if athleticism isn't there, it'll knock him down a few rungs. Now, there, strangely enough, he's got a 90-something production score. People are like, well, I don't know, Shamar Stewart. Like, Ruben Bain this year has more sacks than Shamar Stewart all of his college career. Be quiet about that
yep.
nonsense.
And he might be out for the rest of the year at this point.
So, that's nuts. But going back to the pros, I have a question for you. I'll answer on mine, and then you give me yours. The two rookies you have who you're most optimistic about. Mine are Tess Johnson and Gunnar Helm.
That I'm most optimistic about. Donovan Ezraku. And then I think Cam Scadaboo. Fannon's close behind, but
so it'd be Fannin because I was thinking more like this year, like when we're talking in
this
a
year
month.
going forward, then it'd be Fannin.
Yeah. When we're talking in a month, you're gonna be like, oh wow, now I'm starting to love this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Fannin will continue to perform at a pretty high level and continue to produce. So
for those of you clipping that portion and be like, he keeps saying he believes in Shador. I believe in Shador. I do not believe in the Browns. And if like we still have this, if I draft Mendoza and then the Browns take him, I'm taking Bain instead.
Yep. That is something that other shadow drafters might have an issue with, but we have agreed upon as friends a no Browns QB clause. Yeah. Now, if it's later in the rounds, I'm not going to care about it.
Yeah, no. But if I draft Klubnik and then the Browns take Klubnik, he's a backup anyway.
Yeah, that would be the one time the guy ends up being good because the Browns are dumb and can't do anything right. But if next year, if the Browns draft someone this year, or if the Browns end up passing on, let's say Shador shows some positive stuff, and they choose not to draft one this year, and they wait till next year, and then they end up drafting one the following year, still the same rule. Yep. If one of us takes a quarterback, so the way that would work is if Matt takes Mendoza, and then 2 picks later, let's say the Browns had a pick later than mine, he would then get to take, even if it was the guy I had. So if I took Bain at pick, let's say Matt had pick 2, I had pick 4, and the Browns had pick 5. If Matt takes Mendoza, I take Bain, Browns take Mendoza, Matt can say I'll take Bain, and then I would get the next guy that I wanted that hadn't been drafted at my pick.
Yep.
That's how it would work, because we are just of the opinion that it's a death sentence. Any quarterback that goes to the Browns. Yep. Now, when they leave, they might be all right.
Yeah. I've been asked, well, what if Shador lights it up? What if Shador wins 8 games in a row? I'm like, still the Browns. I'm still taking Mendoza because the Browns.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will be happy for Shador, and I'm not cutting Shador, but as long as Shador's a Brown, and some people are like, well, you're talking about Fannin. The Browns can have Pro Bowlers literally everywhere but quarterback. The minute they get a good quarterback, they cut him for people in legal trouble. It's just what the Browns do. Yeah. They'll cut Shador and pick up some quarterback who shot a guy. I don't like.
Yeah. So I think that's really about it for us today. We'll be back in hopefully in 2 weeks. We'll hopefully be back with someone talking about people who should look to hit the transfer portal from smaller schools and hopefully for some bigger competition. Still trying to lock that down. So on Twitter, you've got or X, you've got Matt here at MLS Weech. I'm at new one because I was hacked and my count is lost. So I'm at Ryan underscore draft to the future or D2TF. Um, and we are at draft to the future on X as well. So follow us all of those places. We'll make sure that we're updating things as we go, and we're on constantly tweeting about football, anyways. From myself and from Matt, thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.